Welcome, fellow travelers. Tonight's tale comes from a frightened college student in Atlanta who learns the hard way that shadows sometimes have desires of their own. So sit back, turn the lights down. This one's sure to be a doozy. Oh, and don't forget to like, share, and to leave a comment. Now, without further ado, let's get started.
Hi, I hope this gets out to as many people as possible. Please share it anywhere you can. DM it to someone you care about. Repost it. Screenshot it. I don't care how. Just get the word out. There's something happening in Atlanta. I used to think it was just me. Some freak hallucinations, stress, college burnout, something I could explain away. But then I started reading online, and what I saw is happening to other people too, not just here. Chicago, Houston, Baltimore, Detroit, everywhere. They don't talk about it on the news. The cops don't mention it. But if you dig deep enough, old forums, dead subreddits, encrypted chat archives, you'll find the stories. And the pattern is always the same. Here's what I've learned. They're shadows first. You'll see them outside, still, silent, watching. Once they see you and get a lock, they start the copy. You'll know the copy is done because you'll see you, and it will smile. Once the smile happens, the chase is on. You can't fight it. You can't reason with it. You have to run. You're safe only if you haven't been copied yet. Get inside. Anything. A building, a car, hell, even a porta potty. But if you've been copied, going inside won't save you anymore. You have until sunrise. If it kills you before then, it takes your life. If you survive until daylight, it dies. People won't even know you've been replaced, but they'll feel it. You're probably wondering what happened to me. Well, here it is. My warning. My way of surviving a little longer and helping as many people as I can. I'm 19. This is my first year at GSU, and I saw it 4 nights ago. I was waiting outside for my Uber back to the dorms after a party just off campus. Nothing crazy, just beer, music, people grinding in LED-lit corners. I left a little before 1 a.m. I went outside early because the noise was getting to me. Too much energy, too many strangers. It was a little cold out, and the streets were dead quiet, except for what looked like someone standing across the road on John Wesley Dobbs Avenue. I thought they were waiting for an Uber too, but the longer I stared, the more I couldn't tell if it was a guy or a girl. They didn't move. They didn't check their phone. They just stood there, blending into the shadows like they belonged there. Then this wave of dread hit me, like the air got heavy, like I was standing in the ocean and a riptide had just pulled the water out from under me. I didn't know why I felt that way. Didn't have a reason. But thank God my Uber pulled up right then. I got in the car, took one last glance across the street, and the figure was gone. Just like that. As we drove off, I kept looking through the back window, wondering where they'd gone. There was nowhere to duck into, no cars to hide behind. It just didn't make sense. When I got back to the dorm, I made sure not to slam the door or stomp down the halls. I always complained about noise, and I would hate being a hypocrite. I peeled off my jacket, dropped my bag, and crawled into bed on my side of the room. That's when I glanced out the window and froze. There, just barely lit by the orange glow of the street lamp, stood a figure, motionless, facing up toward my window, watching me. Maybe it was just some creep, I thought, a perv hanging around the girls' dorms. I made a mental note to tell campus security in the morning, but something about it. It didn't move like a person. It looked like a shadow, not just hidden in it, made of it. Its edges were soft, like smoke or fog, and the longer I stared, the more I felt like if I blinked, it would disappear. That next morning, I stopped by the campus security office to let them know about that creepy person hanging out outside my dorm and went about my day as usual. Everything felt normal at first. But as the day went on, I started noticing little things. People acting weird. Not everyone, just a few. The way they walked, like they were on autopilot. No small talk, no eye contact. A girl I'd had class with twice a week suddenly didn't seem to recognize me. Another guy from my dorm passed by without a word, and he's usually one of those overly friendly types who talks even when you don't want him to. Later that evening, I met up with some friends at the study hall. We were supposed to review for a psych exam, but we ended up talking about how off people had been acting lately. My friend Kira even joked that it felt like we were in an alternate dimension. That's when it hit me. A few of the people we were talking about had been at that party the other night. I should have noticed it then. I really should have. But I dismissed it. Told myself they'd just had a rough night. Maybe they were hungover or tired or coming down with something. After we wrapped up, I walked to the library. Figured I'd knock out a few chapters and maybe do a little background research on sleep hallucinations or urban legends, anything to help me explain away what I thought I saw. I got absorbed. Time disappeared. When I looked up at the clock again, it was 12:37 a.m. My stomach dropped. I packed up fast and headed toward the front doors. As I reached the glass entryway, I hesitated. Outside, under a tree across the plaza, was that shadowy figure again, standing perfectly still. It was hard to tell if it was looking directly at me, but somehow I felt it. The same weight in the air, the same pull in my gut, like it was waiting. Or at least that's what my gut was telling me. I gave myself a light slap to the face and whispered to myself, "Girl, get a damn grip," and headed out the door. Even with the added boost of confidence, I still didn't take the walkway out the library that would have led me past that shadowy figure still standing there. I opted to cut across the grass. You know the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I kept my eyes forward as I walked toward my dorm. Each step felt heavier than the last. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to run, but all I could muster was a quick glance back toward the tree. It still stood there, but now I could make out what looked like eyes. Wide, pale, empty sockets that glowed faintly in the dark. Then it moved. Not walking, not stepping. It looked like it was gliding along the sidewalk, smooth and silent. I quickened my pace, clutching my bag tighter. Was this the same figure from outside my dorm that night? I had just the remedy for this perv. I'd lead him straight to campus security. I cut across the grass, trying to keep my shit together and not break into a run, but I was tired, and I had had enough of this person's games. It was at that moment I made my biggest mistake. That was the moment it finished the copy. That's when everything truly began. I decided to stand my ground. I turned around and there it was, maybe the length of the field away from me, both of us as still as statues in a museum. As I looked, it seemed to shimmer slightly. Slowly, its features began to come into view, like someone was cleaning a dirty window I had been trying to see through. Now I could tell. This wasn't a guy. It was a girl. Not just any girl. It was me. Same hoodie, same jeans, same messy bun, right down to the streak of pink in the fringe, but darker. Smudged at the edges like someone had taken charcoal and rubbed it into my skin. Its eyes were white. Not glowing, not shining. Just empty sockets of cold, bone-pale nothing. And it was smiling. This weird, overly happy smile like I had just made its whole night. A slow, unnatural grin that stretched too wide, too deep, like the skin wasn't used to bending that way. I don't remember deciding to run. I just did. I ran to the only place I could think of, the campus security office. I didn't look back. I just ran with everything I had. Somewhere along the way, I dropped my bag, but I didn't care. I just made haste. In the distance, I could see the glass front doors of the security office. I pushed myself harder. With every step, it felt like it was right there, behind me, reaching, ready to grab me at any moment. Finally, I was there. I burst through the doors like a maniac, nearly scaring the security officer at the front desk out of his chair. "What the fuck? What the hell is wrong with you?" he shouted. I stood there, huffing and puffing like I'd just run an Olympic sprint. I wasn't even sure what to say. I couldn't exactly tell him I saw myself chasing me, so I went with the next best thing. "There's some guy chasing me," I shouted between ragged breaths. He started following me from the library. The guard quickly stepped out from behind the desk and moved to the door, peering out. I followed close behind, not sure what we'd find. But when we looked, she was gone. The sidewalk was empty. The security guard turned to look at me, his expression caught somewhere between concern and disbelief. There's no one there." I wasn't sure if I was relieved or even more afraid. He asked me for a description, but I hesitated. What could I say? That it was me? My voice caught, and I shook my head. I didn't get a good look. It was dark. I was just scared. He sighed. "All right, I've got a patrol to do around campus in a few. If you're okay now, I'll have to step out soon." I nodded, already feeling the tightness in my chest start to creep back in. "What about your bag?" he asked. "Where'd you drop it?" "On the grass by the library," I said. He gave a shrug and motioned for me to follow. "All right, I'll walk you to grab it. But after that, you'll need to head back on your own." Luckily, it wasn't far. We found the bag right where I'd dropped it. I clutched it tightly as we walked back toward the security office. When we reached it, the guard nodded and peeled off into the night, continuing his patrol. For a moment, I felt okay. Safer, maybe. Like I'd outrun the nightmare. But that feeling didn't last. Halfway back to the dorm, she returned. She stepped out from behind a tree. Same hoodie, same jeans, same pink-streaked bun, same face, same smile. Those blank, bone-white eyes locked onto mine. And then, she ran. Straight at me. I didn't think. I just bolted. Heart pounding, lungs burning. I made it to the dorm entrance and yanked the door open. I didn't look back. I didn't have to. I knew she was behind me. I slammed the door and ran through the halls, twisting through side corridors, past the common lounge, and finally ducked into a break area near the vending machines. I dove behind one of the heavy desks tucked into the corner and held my breath. Footsteps echoed down the hall. Then a voice. My voice, but not. "It's only a matter of time before I find you," it sang, syrupy sweet but filled with static. "Scratch you from existence, then your life will be mine." Silence. "Aren't you tired of your life?" I squeezed my eyes shut and covered my mouth. It was taunting me. It knew I was there, and it was getting closer. I looked around for something, anything, a weapon. I had made up my mind that if it found me, I was gonna fight. But there was nothing. I was gonna have to use my hands. I decided that once it got close, I was gonna charge it and knock it to the ground. Little by little, as it taunted me, I could hear it getting closer. Then it was as if it was right there on top of me. I rose with all my fury, screaming like a banshee. I rushed towards it with all I could muster, determined to take it down, and it was as if I tackled air. I went shoulder first into the adjacent wall, falling to the floor like discarded trash. A sharp pain shot through my arm as I reached for my shoulder and looked up to find it standing there, staring down at me from across the room. "Now that won't do you a bit of good," it hissed, almost as if it were laughing at my attempt at defending myself. "Just give up already." it said, opening its arms as if inviting me over for a hug. I think that once it has copied you, no physical attacks work on it at all. It was as if I went right through it. Now in that situation, I could have run to my room or out into the night. Hindsight. I am glad I ran out into the night, because if I hadn't, I don't think that I would be here now to warn you. I ran out into the night, holding my shoulder but still running at a good pace. It was right there behind me. Close, but not close enough. Where was I going to run next? It was just me and my doppelganger running through the streets. I didn't even know where I was going anymore. I just ran. Through alleyways, across empty intersections, past flickering street lamps and locked storefronts. My lungs burned, my legs screamed, but I didn't stop. I could hear it behind me, bare feet slapping against the pavement, mimicking my every breath, my every move, like it was learning how to be me with every step. Then my foot caught the edge of the curb. Everything went sideways. I crashed hard against the side of a parked car, my body slamming into the door before I hit the ground. Pain shot up my ribs and arm. I gasped, trying to crawl, but my body refused. And then, silence. I looked up. There she was, standing just feet away, that twisted grin still on her face, her empty white eyes glowing softly in the dark. She didn't speak right away, just stared, like she was savoring the moment. Then her smile twitched, like it was trying to stretch wider. "You may have gotten away this time," she hissed, voice warped like static through a broken speaker. "But I'll scratch you from existence soon enough. Your life will be mine." And then, the first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon. She didn't run. She didn't scream. She just started to come apart. Like smoke unraveling in the breeze, like dew boiling off hot pavement. She evaporated, gone. I laid there on that pavement, never so happy to see the morning sun breaking the horizon. I had barely survived. I've been piecing it together since then. My ordeal isn't over. She comes for me every night like a Swiss clock, out in the shadows, staring at the window of wherever I may be. I see her with those hollow white eyes and that smile stretched inhumanly across her face. I learned the rules. I never go out after 12 a.m. Never. To me, this is the most important rule of all. But if you end up out past 12, and you find a doppelganger of yourself smiling at you, run like hell. Be safe out there and spread the word.
Now that was truly terrifying. You heard her. Don't forget those rules. I wonder what would have happened if the sun's rays hadn't saved her in the nick of time. Have you ever seen your own doppelganger or worse? Has someone ever told you they saw you somewhere you know you weren't? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. Like and share it with someone, anyone, and don't forget to subscribe for more tales from the Keeper of Tales. And as always, should you find yourself lost along your travels, let our light be your guide.